Hi, Victory.
Hello.
So, can you hear me? All right.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good.
Um,
All right. So, I guess to first thanks, Herman. I actually have received, the consulting
Right, that went through. Wonderful.
from your university already. That was
From it.
very surprising because it's 3 months. Okay. Okay. But thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. So, and also thanks for the mastermind. That's
Oh,
Friday.
that was
I
good.
think we probably
Yeah.
should have some additional discussions, DJ. Is there something we can work together?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's start with
right.
maybe Victoria's topic. All right. Okay.
Yes. Okay, let me just share my screen. So I updated the where is it? Can you see my screen? Okay. Um, so I updated the what do you call it? The presentation. I tried to create the two big pictures as discussed. So initially I had two big pictures until I spoke to someone who sort of came up with a third one, but I will bring that up just in time. Okay, first, so the big picture first in the industrial environment, right? Let me minimize this. Sorry. In an industrial environment, for example, thinking a self-sustainable, industrial web of devices like an intranet sort of network where all the devices are sort of connected with each other in a decentralized format. In a case like this, the sensors and the servers and the data acquisition, the data acquisition devices uh, communicate with each other such that the data is not in one place. It's distributed across all these devices and they communicate with each other within this local network. Now, the aim of this is to sort of limit the data distribution to external service providers or data centers. This would help from a privacy perspective for sensitive data and that kind of stuff. And at the same time, it should save costs in terms of computing costs and basically data storage. Um, so that's the first picture. The second one is from a commercial perspective. I think we've discussed this before, where like the example of the decentralized Uber, which Shunyun discussed, or Amazon, or in our case, Gumtree in South Africa, right? And the aim basically is to make it first easy to use for small businesses, or should I say young developers. I don't really know the best word to use. Maybe upcoming developers to make them competitive.
Well,
um
startups. You may say.
startups, yes.
Use the word startups.
Startup. Startups, yes. Jeez, sorry about that. Startups competitive, yes, to sort of level the playing field when competing with giants like Google and Amazon, and also actually to provide better, or should I say better alternatives to to what the current giants are using. So at the moment, I do know we all know about the Google servers and the server farms all around the world. So if the decentralized system was applied to all of the systems, things sort of the data is sort of managed better. It also gets more cost effective because they can manage more data for lesser with lesser cost rather. Yeah, lesser cost. And the third big picture, um, mobile communication. So I was talking to someone about this. This person is like an IT person, a friend of mine in Joburg. Um, he's a technical guy. So I was talking to him about the potential of using, the spatial routing for just normal mobile phones, or should I say, for mobile devices where data is just being shared. He did raise a concern in terms of security, where people are not very comfortable with sharing their information. um, you know, but if there was a way to sort of compartmentalize I don't know if that's the right. I think that's the right way. Yeah, to sort of to protect their personal data from the publicly accessible, say, data or storage. Then it's something people will look into. But one thing he really suggested that got me sort of interested is like in a case where, for example, MTN has like multiple devices on the network, where there's a way that if I have extra data I'm not using, and there's someone on the network that wants data, then it can be sort of shared in a way where I have access to people around me or people in my network zone. I have access to their airtime if they choose to share it, or access to their data. Now, one thing I'm not sure about though is if this actually requires if our application will work in this scenario, because I do know that MTN and Co, they have their own systems in place where all of them are sort of connected to the same network. So I don't know how realistic it will be in the meantime. But yeah, that was something he suggested, and it was quite interesting to think about that because it sort of opened up the commercial market a little bit.
Well, I think the point there is just that you're sharing resources. So
Yes.
the example you're using over there is airtime in South Africa.
Yes.
And one of
Yes.
the reasons is because we have this silly thing where airtime expires, which
Yes.
is because it goes
It's
bad or
terrible.
something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and using something like spatial routing is an option. So in other words, you say you're just sharing from the from the data of the people around you or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think the point is just that essentially what this allows is you to share resources with people around you, which is
Yes.
basic. And this is an example of that.
Okay. Okay. So it is a realistic option.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if MTN and Vodacom and them would be very fond of it, but I mean the concept. I mean, whether it's a something which will be commercially successful, that's a different question.
That's a different
The question
okay.
you're asking is it technically feasible? And I think the answer is yes, it should technically be possible to do something like that, or share some
Okay.
other kind of resources. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, I think this is the only part I sort of changed in this. Where I basically added the need for sensors because there's a high need for data analytics at the moment. And basically more data means more sensors, and more sensors mean more efficient, or should I say more dynamic environments. And to handle all of that, as the numbers go up, the current systems sort of can't really handle that. So I think that's the part I changed in that. Financial challenges, I think I changed this part as well. Jeez. So current models require semi centralized approach to data storage. It gets expensive as the number of devices increase. It also poses high risk in data losses. So basically, because of this model, there's a very high risk that data could be lost. That's the part I added in that, or should I say changed? This did the same, basically based on a VON P2P algorithm, and the aim also stays the same, lower costs, that kind of thing, and then the next steps. Yes. I don't know if Shenyun.
Well, I think it's laid out quite well. I like the vision part, the big picture part. I think that provides the context. One feedback is I believe it would be good to mention one of the three visions as being the surge and rise of spatial data. Okay, remember
sorry,
we talked about that
sorry,
last time?
I didn't get that. Sorry about that.
Spatial data, right?
Spatial data. Oh, yes.
The surge of spatial data. Okay. And I would recommend to put that on as a big picture number 3.
Oh, okay. Number 3. Okay.
Because what happens is I think it's good you just have 3 big picture slides, okay, because I think that's enough. But just a feedback, I think one of them should be the surge of spatial data.
Okay.
as I mean in the title actually. Okay, in the title, big picture, because
picture.
because I mean your whole work is going to be talking about how do we manage these spatial data, whether in terms
Okay.
of storage, right, or computation, right?
Yeah.
And storage, we're talking about it could be not just static spatial data like landmarks, but also
Okay.
dynamic spatial data, you know, as in
Okay.
vehicles, cars, right? Or like
Yeah.
moving sensors, right? So yeah, I think we should let the reader or whoever listens to your proposal to have this
Okay.
idea that yes, and agree that yes, there will be a lot more spatial data because of mobile device, right? Because of sensors and all that, and of network, mesh network, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
There was something I also noticed. I'm not sure if I should add that like as a topic on its own or just another example. There's like a rise in smart cars as well.
yes,
Where
that's for sure.
the cars are sort of I think I saw a presentation recently where I actually asked the people how they're able to minimize costs on the car, like because it communicated with a server somewhere with the cloud, and the only thing they could say was they just try to minimize the amount of data being sent from the car. So they didn't really change anything in terms of the server infrastructure. It's just they minimized the amount of data sent from the car to the servers to minimize cost. So I was thinking that could be also another application. But it's a case of should it just be another example in this case, or a potential future consideration for the API?
Right. All right. I guess any feedback on Herman on the so
yeah, to
have
be
you done the, oh sorry.
So all of these things are actually, they're just examples to me of applications that can use spatial data. So so I guess in the car example, I mean, there's lots of work that's been done in terms of vehicular communication networks. And usually what you have there is you have the cars and they want to communicate with, they need to communicate with some base station, which is distributed throughout the road. And the problems usually there are that is that either other cars cause transmission problems or the buildings and things like that. So if you have a distributed communication network, the advantage could be, I mean, I had a student doing some work where he basically used an ad hoc network where the cars themselves would pass the message along, and it kind of worked. But yeah, I guess the problem is just that you need enough cars actually taking part in the network for it to become viable. And you would typically also need some kind of a backup system over there. But I think it's a good example to use because you're still, I mean, as the number of cars increase, you don't want to put everything on the backbone, in my opinion, at least.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So have you done with all the slides? Is there more materials to show?
Yeah, that's it for now. So so basically I was just gonna ask like how if this is sort of good to go from a printing perspective.
This is good to go from a what perspective?
Print to sort of like just print this.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can I see the AIM slides again? The AIM.
Aim.
Okay, I see. And what is the problem? The problem slides?
The problem. Oh, sorry, the problem.
Okay, I see. I think the maybe there's the I guess the all right. I think one thing that can be mentioned as well is that right now there is not a standard way to handle spatial data.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
There is not a common approach, a unified approach that sort of allows spatial data to sort of kind of work together in an easy way. Okay. I think all of these spatial applications that we see uses more or less some really proprietary data formats, right? Communication protocols.
Okay.
Exactly, right. And that is also, that will not help, you know, for interoperability and, you know, for lowering costs and all that, right? Because so I think this is also, I mean, there is no easy, effective, cost-efficient, and standardized way to handle spatial data.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's, I mean, obviously we may not be able to solve all the problems, particularly if it's kind of like a standard related, you know, that's often, you know, probably due to a lot of consensus work, etc. However, you should point out that this is an important problem.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
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 Right. Okay. Yes. So yeah.
Sorry, I'm just
Herman's
writing these
feedback.
things down.
Okay. So all right. So I guess the next step. So this is good. So Herman, regarding this, what would you like to see next? I mean, besides the current slides and anything you think is missing.
I guess the next thing we need is basically the document, which basically translates this into like a 20-page document, which, you know, with references to literature and existing solutions and what you've done thus far and what the plan is, you know, what the aims is, you know, and maybe in about, you know, 5 to 10, you know, objectives, you know, measurable things or milestones that you want to do. So that's the one part, and then we can submit that as soon as possible. And then I guess the other part is then to say, okay, but let's now focus on saying, okay, you want to submit a conference publication or a conference paper, and what's going to be the topic of that conference paper, and what's the experimental or simulation work you need to do in order to basically get that conference paper submitted. So I guess my next focus would be finish this off and start working on the, you know, the experimental or simulation work for submitting some kind of a conference publication.
Okay. All right. That's a very good feedback. Let me ask a question. So, do you have a conference or workshop in your mind now that to submit for? Is there a particular venue and deadline?
So I think I picked one on the Excel sheet. I have to look at the Excel sheet again, but I do. I think it was IEEE. Let me just.
Can you show it on screen?
Let me just open it quickly. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Where are you? This is not the one. This is another one. So just hold on. I marked it out somewhere here. I'm trying to. Jeez. Sorry about that. IEEE transactions on networking. That was the one.
Okay, so that's a journal, which is fine. I think that is a good journal to aim for. So the one you could consider going, it's more a workshop, would be the MMVE workshop. That's one you could consider for. That's one actually where Shunyan and I have actually been involved in the past couple of years. So that would be one, I think that would be one workshop where the topic that you are working on could be interesting. And I think you would also get involved. I mean, if you go to it, it's going to be in Turkey this year, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
When is it going to be? When is the conference be?
I think it's going to be in June or July. I think we're still in the. It was supposed to be,
I see. Next
there
year,
this
June or
year.
July.
And then they decided, okay, but if they missed it in this in 2020, they're just going to have it in. Okay, let's see here. ACM MMSys 21, Istanbul, Turkey. And oh no, it's going to be in May 25 to 28, actually. Okay, that's actually not bad.
May. Okay.
Let me just see what the submission deadline. Workshops. NOSDAV, MMVE, MMVEs. Okay, and there's Mario Montagood is and important dates. Okay, so the good. Okay. Register by, upload by, where's submission? Because
All right.
it looks like it could be the 5th of March, could be the
Yes, let me share my
submission
screen.
date.
I actually have it
Oh,
here.
thank you.
Sorry, it's this one. Can you see it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think the timing is quite good actually.
That's good.
Yeah,
So
Is that the-
the
that's the
research
one
track, December.
Sorry.
so
Okay, yeah,
MMSys
I think
is
the
11th of December, and it looks like MMVE is the 5th of March.
ACM.
okay.
Oh, last time I checked that website, they didn't have anything on.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
But
So
that's
Herman,
the,
do you think we should aim for the research track or the
can.
one of the other tracks here?
I mean, we can aim for the research track. It's going to be interesting to hit the 11th of December. Well, my experience with the research track is they want more. They typically want more. What do you call it? Established research there.
Okay,
The
more
other
established
option
work.
would be the other option would be the GameSys 2021. Computer digital games with an emphasis on network systems, interactions, and applications. So that'll, I guess this is the replacement for net games. And I see Mark Claypool is the general chair. He's good. Weizang is there. Ketil is there. Karsten is there. Rangout from Norway is there. Okay, cool.
Okay. So that's
So
March, right? The deadline.
all right. I'm just seeing.
The
That's March
deadline
as well,
is
yeah.
MMSys.
emphasis in
so-
March 5th, right?
Yeah.
March. Okay.
Just to
Okay,
confirm,
I think
this is-
that's a good time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one we attended earlier this year, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It is okay. Yeah. Yeah. Last
So
I
the
checked, they
advantage is
actually
there's
didn't
a lot
have
of
anything.
people. There's a lot of people there with experience in networking and multimedia applications, and specifically systems with regard to
Okay.
that. So I think, and if you look at both MMVE and GameSys, you'll see that it's system infrastructure for games. So they're talking about the networking aspects. Okay, they'd also have game engines and other things like that. So the spatial routing could fit into that. And yeah, so I think that would actually be an option too. And since it's March submission date, I think you would still be, you should be able to reach that.
You have a little bit of 3 months. Yep.
Yes.
That's
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay.
So should we just decide on
Um,
this, Herman? You think?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
What about you, Victory? You think that's a good
Yes,
target?
it sounds very good. That's
All right.
the MMV GameSys challenge. I just want to type that
Yes.
quickly.
I'll send you
Okay.
the link.
Yes. I'm actually on the website now. Even
Oh, okay,
Okay.
cool.
All right.
I'm on the website now.
All right. So I guess this is my main feedback. Okay, regarding
Okay.
how to proceed from now.
Okay.
We've decided on the scope, the topic, the I guess, the framework now, and also the target venue, okay, which is very good. You are in need to write a proposal, right, and also to prepare for a submission, right,
Yes.
for the publication, do the
So-
all of things. I would actually recommend you treat everything, from the perspective of a paper submission.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 What I would like to say is that again, think about what is the 2080 thing that you can do that you can have the most impact of your time. Okay.
Okay.
So instead of writing a proposal and then the research publication, I would actually recommend write a research publication and then turn that into a proposal.
Into a proposal.
Okay.
Interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I see what you mean.
You start with writing with the full aim to write a MMV submission. Okay.
Okay.
And then just take the parts that's relevant or that's
And then-
more suited to put into the proposal. And that's your proposal.
Okay.
So basically try to stack up these two things into one. Make them one thing instead of two things.
I can download previous papers from this website, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean,
No,
it's
you
on
should
the,
be able to,
Okay.
by the way, you have access to all the ACM IEEE publication.
Yes, I do. I do have the student.
So
access.
all the previous MMVE and MMSys should be on the ICM website. And if you don't have,
Okay.
I mean, I should also be able to, you can send me links to the papers you want and I should be able to download them and send them to you.
Oh,
That's
all
also
right,
an
all
option.
right. Thank you, sir. All right. But I did the student subscription, so for a year. I think.
Okay, cool.
So it
Okay,
should
cool.
still be active, yes. So
Okay,
But-
all right.
Okay, great.
So, Victor, do you think you can do that? Maybe start with doing
Maybe I
a
should.
submission, and
Okay.
then
I think
I mean,
think that would
obviously,
work.
obviously, you will need more things like simulation and all that, right, for the actual
Yes.
submission. However,
Yes.
I'm just saying that start writing the paper now.
Yes.
see?
Okay.
You can just
Okay.
start writing now, and then it will be easy for you to turn that into an actual proposal. Much easier.
No. Okay.
You see?
Okay. I see what you mean.
Okay, yeah. I think that's kind of what I did back in my doctoral
Write the paper
because
first.
I actually have publication. I actually have already, workshop publications before I submitted my proposal.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So it was really just sort of from those papers, I sort of framed my proposal that way.
Do you mind if I ask? I do know I have a lot of your papers, but I don't know which one were the ones you sent in before the proposal. If you don't mind, just send me
Probably
to-
once before 2009, I would guess, or maybe
Okay.
even before that, 2005 perhaps. I think Shinyon got his master's in 2005, I believe.
Yes,
before that.
2005. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think all my. Oh yes, I think my site is down. Actually.
Yes.
All right, I should probably have it archived somewhere else. Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
I will do that.
Thank you.
All right. So basically, yeah, I think I'll give all my paper up somewhere else. Yeah. Okay. So is that okay, Victory? So
Yes.
I think next time Thursday, if you can just give I think the publication, the framework out.
The framework, yes, exactly. The
Yeah,
framework.
with all the major sections out, that would be great. Okay.
Okay. I'll do
And
that.
write down, I think, just in bullet points, all the things you want to talk about within
Yeah.
each section. You don't have to write them yet, but try to make as many bullet points.
Yeah.
Would that be all right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the idea is that I think what I would like to see is basically the paper, sort of as in, just imagine when it's already done.
Okay.
How well it look like structurally, you see?
Okay.
Just imagine you have all the details and all the ideal results already done out there. Okay, like things you have designed certain things, and so what would the paper actually?
Mm.
Okay, all the major sections, subsections, and what are the major points, bullet points within each section,
Okay.
and just lay that out. Okay.
All right. I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll
Victor,
do
is that okay?
That is perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, any feedbacks from Herman?
No, that's good. I think that's a good approach.
Okay. All right. All right. We want the skeleton out first. All right. And also,
yeah.
Herman and I can then provide like more quicker feedback for you.
All
Yeah.
right. I will do that.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very
And
much.
besides, if you have 3 months to write a paper, I'm pretty sure you will have a good paper out by the end of
Yeah.
March. I mean, by the early March.
By the end of December. if
Start
possible.
early. Start early. You know, start everything early as possible as you can. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you
All
very
right.
much.
So I think hope that helps. All right. Okay.
Yes, it helps.
So I
It
guess
helps.
talk to you on Thursday then. All right.
Yes. Yes. Sir.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
Herman, do you have maybe 5 more minutes, Herman?
I do.
Okay. All right. So maybe we can chat a bit.
All right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So. Okay, yeah, take care, take care, yeah. So, Herman, I think the thing I want to talk about is, yeah, thanks, Victor, is I have been thinking that, you know, do you think it would be possible to get GJ and also, you know, us to work on something together?
Yes, yeah, I sent him a message this morning asking when would he be available to chat with you. He sounds very. I mean, it's him and I that started the Media Lab many years ago, so we have a good history of working together. And he seemed. I mean, he basically started at the university again just now, and he's basically ramping up his research, and he's definitely interested in this this spatial routing. So
Okay, good, that's good.
Uh,
Because
so
I
I'm
think,
yeah.
let's set up a meeting with him, all right?
Yes.
If okay, I would prefer the same, you know, the time like this.
Yeah.
I think for me, it would be better on Monday and Wednesday, okay? The same time,
Okay.
okay? So I think, okay, so it's actually Wednesday is better. Okay, Wednesday is better.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, when but if he cannot accommodate, then maybe one of the Mondays. Just I need
Okay, cool.
advance notice for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think what we can talk about is what are his goals and aims, you know, and what he'd like to accomplish, and whether you know there can be something that's overlapping. And
Cool.
I have the sense that, you know, because he's now got from an industry background, so it will be very valuable, you know, if we can get the work that we're doing here out directly into industrial applications.
Yes.
Okay,
Precisely,
I think he can serve well into that role.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Cool.
yeah, so let's maybe have a chat then. Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay,
just sent
all
him
right,
a message.
Okay. Okay. All right. So thanks, Herman. Yeah. Really appreciate it, the mastermind. Actually, that's
That was
the
good.
purpose of that's the purpose of the mastermind. You know, to come
Yeah.
up with ideas and collaborations.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think that was good. No. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks for organizing that. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Good.
Take care. Bye bye.
Cheers.